Climate change got a lot of play over the weekend by some. It's the largest climate march to date. Over 300,000 Americans from across the country converged on New York City to make a statement. It's about time. Secretary of State John Kerry said on Monday that Mother Nature is, quote, screaming at humanity to act on climate change. Dr. Reese Halter, Dr. Reese, REESE.com is where you can find his work. Dr. Reese Halter, distinguished conservation biologist and author, with us here on the Ed Shultz Internet broadcast. Reese, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Ed.
What'd you make of that march? These people were a cross-section of Americans. Do you think this movement is growing?
Oh, absolutely. Worldwide. This was the kickstart to what has to happen, Ed. We have no more time to dither. The hard facts are, at emitting 36 billion tons of greenhouse gases, an all-time record this year, right now, that if we continue business as usual over the next couple decades, we will have spent the entire carbon budget for this century, which means that we will easily exceed 7 degrees more across the globe. Let me just put that into a global perspective. At that moment, the oceans and the forests globally, our life support system for our oxygen, for our food, for our medicines, for our homes, for all animals, will be shut down. This is it, baby. If we do not act, and by the way, I see this as the greatest opportunity to create tens of millions of jobs, because in America, we are innovators. We are job creators, and there is nothing that the entrepreneurial spirit in the United States of America cannot tackle and cannot turn a problem into the biggest opportunity.
I don't think there's any question about that. You know, when you start talking about clean energy, wind and solar, if we make a real commitment to it, it's amazing how many jobs can be created. Dr. Reese Halter with us here on the Ed Shultz Internet broadcast. I want to focus back on, if we do nothing in the next couple of decades, 7 degrees more across the globe. That's your prediction? That's what you think is going to happen?
That's the official prediction from the IPCC out of Europe. It is absolutely, utterly ruinous. And by the way, it's absolutely unacceptable, because here's the thing, Ed. We all make mistakes. That's being a human. But in all good faith, for all the children of the earth, no one can look themselves in the mirror knowing what we know right now. And I'm talking across the board. 99% of the scientists that work in biology around the globe, they're standing behind me, and they're standing behind what we're saying. It's now or never.
Now or never. The president's going to be speaking to the United Nations today. He's going to be bringing forth some proposals. There will be some executive orders. What is the best thing we could do right now, right, as a country, as the United States? What is the best thing we could do? What is within our reach, Doctor?
Well, I got to say, I'm gonna be hard here, but you asked, so I'm going to tell you. Worldwide, and for us, we're a leader here. The oil, gas, and coal industry is receiving conservatively $1.9 trillion in subsidies. Take them away. Take them away, and watch how the free market sorts itself out with energy source and sources. All of a sudden, of course, the price of a gallon of gas will go way up. But when it goes way up, that's when the new game, the new rules of the green economy for our children begin. And it's exciting, it's challenging, and it has to happen. The other thing I would love to see, and not a question of a doubt, every town and city in our nation and around the globe begin to future-proof, begin to plant more trees. That, by the way, the species will have to be adapted for a warmer climate. Because what the audience needs to understand, Ed, this is crucial. No matter what, if we stopped all carbon fuels right this second after we finish this interview, that's not going to fix the game. The Earth, she's warming, and she will continue to warm for a couple centuries. It's just a matter now of whether we can, Fallswell, manage this or not. And there isn't a not. I am an inveterate optimist. I have been working in this game for 30 years, and I only see opportunities here. And the opportunities start when the Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States, steps on the podium and says, Planet Earth, this is what we're going to do, and all of the other countries are dovetailing behind the United States of America because we're the leaders, Ed.
Dr. Reese Halter with us here on the Ed Shultz Internet broadcast. drreese.com, distinguished conservation biologist and author. Final point I want you to make. Comment on the polar ice cap. What is happening?
Oh, my. Well, it's a full-scale disaster, Ed. For instance, it's doubled. The amount of melt has doubled, more than doubled in some cases, from both polar caps. It's upsetting. Look, this is how complex, because this isn't an A plus B equals C. This is the most dynamic system on the Earth. The ice is melting irrevocably and at least twice as fast. But this summer, something very unusual happened, at least for all of my colleagues in climate science. The ocean temperatures up in the at the 70 degree latitude in the Atlantic Ocean by Norway, Finland, and Denmark were so warm, Ed, that it created a massive pressure difference between the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. And so what happened is it turbocharged the trade winds in the Pacific Ocean. Further to that, it has amplified the most heinous drought in California. There are parts of California right now that have not been this dry since the year 1580. And by the way, we know that from tree rings. That's 434 years. 85% of our state right now is in severe or extreme drought. And those turbocharged Pacific winds have sped up sea level rise by 3 times in the Western Pacific. This is all very serious stuff, and we know what we know, so let's get the battle plan, and let's roll up our sleeves, and let's deal with this with American know-how, ingenuity, and turn a problem into the greatest opportunity that has faced civilization and our nation. I know we can do it. I know it.
Dr. Reese Halter, great to have you with us here on the Ed Shultz Internet broadcast. We'll stay connected. Do it again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ed. Right.
You can find his work at drreese.com, drreese.com. This is the Ed Shultz Internet broadcast brought to you by Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean, and now this from the iSave team.
Hi, I'm Ed Shultz, and I want to talk to you today about energy conservation in this country. Now, I'm sure you're listening and saying, okay, to yourself, okay, Ed, I'll turn off the lights when I'm done, when I leave the room. But, you know, our problems in this country go far beyond turning off a light bulb. Would it get your attention if I told you that in less than 3 years, our industrial plants could turn a $3 billion profit and create over 27,000 jobs. That's right. They got my attention. And I did what I think all educated citizens would do and say, how? How are you going to do that? Well, the answer is that I found is quite a surprise. It's called mechanical insulation. The Department of Energy estimates that between 10 and 30% of all pipes in our country are uninsulated. When was the last time you, Mr. Industrialist, walked through your plant and looked at the piping system? Well, I think it's time you make that walk and then make a call to the iSave team. That's right. You see, insulation saves America valuable energy, and this team of energy conservation specialists, well, they're shovel ready to save you money today. Visit iSaveTeam.org today or call their toll-free number to have a specialist give your plant an energy audit. That's iSaveTeam.org. Do it today for all of us.
Well, I think the owner of the Baltimore Ravens actually gave a better press conference than the commissioner did on Friday. Steve Biscotti just saying that ESPN, outside the lines, their report claiming the organization was guilty of purposeful misdirection is just hogwash. Here's what he had to say.
What's obvious is that the majority of the sources are people that work for Ray. Almost everything in there is anonymous, but it's clear from the subject matter that it's Ray's attorney, it's Ray's agent, and it's Ray's friends. And, they are building a case for reinstatement. And the best way to build a case for reinstatement is to make everybody else look like they're lying. Their accusations didn't jive with what we knew was fact.
News and commentary coming up tonight on The Ed Show on MSNBC, 5 o'clock Eastern. DVR the program. We get credit for that when you do it. I appreciate it. We're back tomorrow here on the Ed Shultz Internet broadcast.